Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. Today I'll be showing you how to make 100k every day in EAFC. So if you're new around here and you need a team like mine, minus the loans, you are in the right place. So make sure to subscribe. Of course, we're giving away 9 sets of FIFA points to 9 lucky winners. All you've got to do is subscribe. Send me proof over on Instagram and you'll be entered into the giveaway. And as usual, guys, if you do want to get coins in a bit of a quicker way, well, so if you guys are sick of losing at FIFA because your team isn't good enough or you're not good enough at the game, then right now you need to head over to skycoach.gg. Not only can they coach you in your weekend league or play your games for you, you can buy any amount of coins you want, and all of the services get 10% off right now with the code PRORECALL. Go check them out below. Make sure to click the link in the description and let's get into it. So you're probably wondering, first off, why are we on the SBC screen if we're talking about trading? Now, firstly, SBCs are the absolute pinnacle for trading, and of course, we've had the marquee matchups, which always gives us a few extra filters. Now, one thing with these filters is I've always prided myself on not being one of the trading channels that makes these out as if they're normal filters. They're not. They're marquee matchups. You guys can find them yourself every week on a Thursday, but I'll always show you what's available, and of course have a video filled with about 4 or 5 more, because these are not really content, they're literally there every week. Now, first of all, we've got the likes of Arsenal, Chelsea, and I can't lie, something in me is saying, I was trending on Twitter earlier, 3-1. Now, I don't even know if that goes Arsenal's way right now, but like, it should, and it completely should, in a sense of like who deserves to win the match. But I have this feeling that Chelsea's just going to win. I don't know where the feeling comes from, but I just have this feeling. So we'll see how that goes. You're looking at around 1,000 coins, I think, for these guys right now, which means EA tax is about 50 coins. So actually 850, you're going to make 100 coins per card. Now, you can snipe lower, and of course you're going to have the likes of non-rare cards here, where you can get them for as low as sort of 400 coins and make a very decent bit. And apparently Fabio Vieira is the only one who's allowed to come out right now, but there's obviously a lot of profit to be made. Bear in mind, obviously, you may have to spend a little bit of time, because there will be people doing this simply so they can do the SBC. But have a look if you've got any Arsenal players in your club, get them sold, because they're worth a little bit more than they would usually be worth. Same again with the Chelsea. A lot of Chelsea players aren't actually worth a lot this year because the club was modded over the last year, but you can definitely make a decent bit by selling the ones that you do have in your club. I think these guys are looking a little bit more expensive than the Arsenal players, so it's definitely worth searching through your club, seeing what you've got. It looks like we're looking at about, I'd say 1.4k for the selling on these, which seems about right. So EA tax on that is 70 coins. At 1.2, you'll be making 130 coins a card. And then we've got Thiago Silva in there. It's weird that an 84 is worth 1.2, but hopefully 84s get pushed. I've got a ton on my transfer list, so I'm praying that there's an SBC that does that. Next, you'd move over to Juve and Milan. So we'll just have a quick look at what these two are looking like. Sometimes the other teams, so you've got the main squad, which be in the bottom right of the screen of marquee matchups. Sometimes the other teams don't really inflate as much. So this one here, you'd probably need to do commons. And let's have a look at Milan. Same again, you're going to need 2 commons for those two because they've not really inflated the rare cards. Now, we are going to get into some Trailblazers content. There's a ton more that's just came out and there's a lot to get into, but I'll show you a few lower end methods first, because obviously a lot of what we're going to do on the Trailblazer side is going to be a little bit more expensive. So I want to make this accessible for everyone so you can build your coins on these lower methods and then come over to the Trailblazers. So we start off with Special and Portugal. You've got a couple players that fit the bill here. You've got Gonçalo Ramos and then you've got Pedro Goncalves. I think I'm pronouncing that incorrectly, so I do apologise if I am. You've obviously got the likes of Pepe, not too far away from that as well. João Cancelo, Ruben Diaz, I don't think they're really going to come close. Similarly, Ricardo Carvalho, not really going to be involved. But if we set this to, I think, 16k, you can kind of start scoping out what these guys are worth. 15.5, you got 2 there. I think 16 is kind of where I'd mark them at a reasonable sort of sell point. So 16k, EA tax going to be 800 coins. So realistically, that's 200 coin profit, and that is 450. So that's actually not bad. If you get them at 14,750, you're looking at near half a K profit per card. So obviously it's not a ridiculous feat to get quite a few of these and make a good profit. So it's definitely one to keep your eye on. I'd also say, because it's a lower end special filter, there's definitely some room for mass bidding on this one. If you set the max price to maybe 13,000 coins, bid anything up to 14k, I think you could get some real decent profits out of this one, because as I say, it's lower end. So if we pop this on at, let's have a look, 14,500, just because that's what we would actually bid up to. So we'll bid this one here to 13k off the bat. And I do understand that mass bidding is actually arguably a little bit, you need a higher budget for it, because you're going to be putting down on a lot of cards and obviously not winning that many. But it's definitely worth giving it a go. I would say right now there's a Team of the Week SBC, so maybe go for Pedro Goncalves over Ramos as much as you can. And next up, we've got Special Forward and Argentina. It's a little bit of an old but gold. We've used it before. You've got Milito and Martinez sitting there very close to each other. And of course, we've got Dybala. A little bit more expensive, but definitely accessible on this filter. The next one I would suggest having a look at the minute, definitely, is popping over to Cam. And you want to go to Foot Hero and Serie A. So this one, we're going to be looking at Nakata. You're going to have Roy Costa. You've also got Schneider in there, but I don't think he's going to come up too much. But if we pop this on that 90k mark, that kind of 80k mark where Nakata is sat, as you can see, we've got Roy Costa there as well. So both of them are kind of cheaper heroes as far as like the overall picture is concerned. They're definitely not the cheapest because you've got the likes of the Cahills and the Donovans and the Dempseys, who, of course, when there's a hero pick, it's the ones that I'm going to get. But we do have obviously some nice fills that we can get out of these guys, and they're not ridiculously cheap. There's a lot of budget in there and a lot of room for you to make some coins. I would say if they're going for around 80k, EA tax is going to be 4, so you want to pick them up at about 72, maybe even 70k for the sell on, and then of course you're covered if there is any movement in the market. That one's not too bad. I feel like it's not quite what we want. I mean, if we have a look at 75, 77, there's a few there. I think we could, yeah, it's just not going to work for EA tax for that one. Now, taking a little bit of a jump, of course, over to Trailblazers, there's a lot of filters we can do now that they've released the second team, and we can group a lot of them together. So first of all, Trailblazers, Portugal, Defender, and you're going to be looking at João Cancelo and Ruben Diaz. Now, I will be honest, there is a bit of a gap between these two players in value, obviously in the sort of hundreds of thousands, but they are definitely accessible on the same filter because people make mistakes, and that is where you are always going to be making coins on your snipes. So it's not unreasonable to say that it's going to happen. So you just got to bear in mind what the prices are, spend a little bit of time, and this Ruben Diaz is going to make you a decent bit in the meantime. So 125k, let's say 130 roughly for the EA tax. 10% of that is 13k, half of that is basically 7k. So here we're making 3k, probably want to go down to about here, even here realistically, just to make ourselves about 10,000 coins, because you want to be making as much as you can, and then of course you can just spam this out for as long as you have. Now, I'll be honest, we're on the move to the gym soon, so I'm going to have to get this video done quickly. So I'll be showing you the filters and won't be sniping too long on all of them. But the next one, which will also include João Cancelo, is Trailblazers, La Liga, and FC Barcelona. We've, of course, got João Cancelo and Koundé. So you've got a nice selection there of two players, same club, same sort of positional area. You can pop on Defender and not do Barcelona. And I believe there is definitely... yeah, this guy, I mean, he just, you know, there's no point really having him in the field. So Barca is definitely the way to go with that one. Now, if you hop over to Brazil and Trailblazers right now, you've got Dante and Nikolai on the lower end. So that's a nice little one if you do have less coins. Of course, Danilo can come in there, but he's a little bit more expensive. Now, one you can do, of course, over on Serie A. It's unfortunate that they've got a centre-back now who kind of brings down the defender pricing. This Martinez card isn't really usable because of filters. He kind of brings us down, but we can do Trailblazers centre back and Brazil because of course we've got Danilo and Dante, so you've got two there. A little bit of a price difference between them. Obviously Marquinhos, he's not really going to be helpful for this one. Now, of course, you do have options to get the PSG man in a filter, and we will be having a look at that because of course we look at the biggest and the best. So we're looking at 24k I think for Dante right there, so it's not ridiculous. He's not going for an absolute ton or an absolute nothing. He's kind of a lower budget filter for the Trailblazers, which is good. We need a lower budget filter on every promo. So he's going for, from the looks of things, 20, which means EA tax on that is going to be a K. I'd say snipe at 18 if you can, make that K profit back. He will sell comfortably for sort of 20.5 or 21, but it's just about how much time it's going to take you to actually get those snipes. So it's up to yourselves if you want to pop this in on the 21 for the sale on, or the 20, whatever you think is best. And of course we missed the first snipe. Now the next one is going to include the likes of none other than Marquinhos and Dembele. As you can see, if we pop the cap at 900k, you got Dembele here and we got Marquinhos. Now I know there's 400k between them, but the reality is it's the only way we're getting Marquinhos in a filter, so it was worth it anyway. There's about, I think, actually a 300k gap, which I know sounds a lot, but when you're doing sniping at the higher end, all it takes is the mislip of a button for you to get an absolute crazy snipe. So you're going for about 515 at the minute. EA tax on that is going to be about 30k. So you just want to knock it down realistically to probably here. That's where you want to start your sniping. You'll be making about 15k profit off of there. Of course, you can increase it by lowering that max buy now, but right now it's the first day of Trailblazers, so there's a chance that Marquinhos goes up or down. So it's just going to depend on what that card really brings to the table. And of course, if you really want to have like a really high-end filter, you can of course just do League One special and forward PSG, and you will be looking, of course, once you take out Gonzalo by just putting the minimum at 100k, Mbappe and Dembele, but I just feel like that's not realistic. So the other option, which we can get them in, I suppose Dembele's normal card will actually come up. That's not going to work. So I apologise. The other filter does not exist. But I hope you guys have enjoyed the video. I hope you guys get something out of it. Maybe get some good filters, get some good snipes. And I'll see you guys tomorrow.